Hello and welcome back to Bricking It. So we're going to be doing Herbology today. We're going to be taking out this wall and that's going to form our viewing angle. And start off with an 8x16. I've decided to go for olive green just for a bit more of a natural look. And we're going to whack a big old brick along the bottom here. That's going to form the basis for our rear wall. So in that original image we just showed you, we've got a shelf in front of the windows, and that's what I'm putting in here. Of course, once we've got that in, we can start bringing in the windows themselves. I've used these large ones at the bottom, so Professor Slughorn can get at the tentacular. And just to give a nod to that arched roof, just put these arches in and stuck with the thinner windows in the middle panel. So I'm keeping this the same size and shape as a regular modular classroom, 8x16 and 8 bricks tall. Not going for the greenhouse style roof, because I want to be able to add this to my castle at some point, should I get enough room. At the moment it's living on its own in a separate shelf. So that's our back wall, and you see we've got this stud here, and that's going to be for our first of our plants. Nice and simple. Got these 3-leaf and bar pieces. Just pops on one of those tree limbs. That's just going to stick onto the wall there, but we don't want it hanging in the air, so we're going to give it a pot to sit in. Simply made out of a 3-to-2 jumper, and then one of these curved panel pieces. In fact, here I've used 2 1x1s instead of a 1x2. It just gives us the illusion of a nicely flowering plant in a pot. Pop a couple of flowers in the corner. And on the other side, as we've got those nice opening windows, let's put in some tentacular for Professor Slughorn to get at. Just going to angle this brick just so it's nicely over the windowsill. Put a couple more tentacles in, just to bulk it up. So we've got a nice big lump of tentacular. When we put the students in, you can see this is actually reaching out for one of the students. Let's attack that. There we go. So for the walls at this end, I've decided to go with the tan frames. This part of the greenhouse represents the separation of Professor Sprout's office from the main greenhouse teaching area. And at the other end, I've stuck with the reddish brown frames that came with the Hogwarts MOC Herbology classroom. Made use of that nice sticker. Nice. So the front of the build is going to be very similar to all the other classrooms, just to give it a bit of continuity. So here we have these little detail pieces as we usually do. Mirrored on the other side, and we see we've got a snot brick on each side, just so I can have a bit more visual interest. And pop a Hufflepuff shield on this side, and the Mandrake lesson plan on the other side. We've still got a few gaps to fill in. Just going to plug this one in here. And on this side, just going to put a 1x1 and continue my obsession with get something glowing in every classroom. Got one of these glowing vines. It's just going to sit above the plants on the windowsill, dangling down. So this is the rear wall of our classroom. Because our windows are so high, I've had to make it out of plate. Didn't have quite enough space for a full brick's height. It's just going to sit here, but I want to extend these rafters all the way across. So they're actually built into the front wall, and again I've had to build this out of plate rather than brick. And that's to keep a consistent height amongst all the classrooms. That attaches to those arch pieces across there. I can bring that last bit back in and secure those in firmly. Last couple of tiles on each end to finish off our walls. Now all that's done, we can start moving on to some interior details. Let's start with some students. Now none of these are standard. Well, I say none of them. Neville is. He's the CMF Neville Herbology. But the other two students use the Neville and Cedric bodies from the Hogwarts Moments Herbology classroom, just with different student heads, just for a more generic look. So that's our students. Nice. So obviously the feature of this lesson is the mandrakes. We've got a few fairly generic ones, just with these 1x1 round bricks or tiles with the 3-leaf plant pieces in the top, just attached to some reddish brown brick, and this is just going to sit in front of the students. It does look a bit sparse, so for a bit more of a full look, I'm going to bring in this front row. We've really packed these in using these inverted slopes and a panel piece. Then our stalks are just shoved into some 1x1 round tiles with a hole in the top. And they're just going to fill across the front, just to make the whole table look a lot more full. Nice, gives a nice angle. See, I'm a brick short on the inside here, so we're just going to fill up this space with another one of those inverted slopes, just to give an even look. So it's not much of a class without a teacher. So here's Professor Sprout, as you can see, in just the costume she was wearing during that mandrake lesson. I'm going to pop her here at the head of the table. And there's our teacher and students, along with all their mandrakes. It's a pretty nice classroom. I'm just going to make use of these rafters that we put in to add these kind of lantern sensor type details up at the top. Simply made with a dome, one of these 2 long axles and another dome. I had a little one of these inverted radar dishes just for a bit more detail. I've made this in dark tan. Possibly sand green would have been a better choice. But to be honest, I didn't have all the pieces available in sand green, but I did in dark tan. I think it looks quite nice. Gives that rusty metal look. You don't need an axle to make these. I'm going to make this one slightly differently with one of these 2 long bars. I'll just slip inside. And the benefit of this is, because you're not held to the orientation that the axle teeth make you have, instead of having it with one large hole, you can offset those holes for a slightly more open look. And again, we're going to finish that off with the radar dish. Just for consistency inside the MOC, I'm just going to realign these. Do let me know in the comments which you prefer. So there we have it. That is our Herbology classroom. Nicely packed with stuff, plenty of things to see. Colours aren't bad, got a few splashes in there for interest. Got these windows at the back here. Obviously we want to pose a Professor Slughorn. It's quite a nice look from the outside, quite clean. Could easily pass for a greenhouse. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please do leave us a like. Like and make a comment, that would be great to hear from you as well. And for more Hogwarts MOC builds, please subscribe to Bricking It. Bye bye.